Hello, welcome to this week's installment of Ask Me Sean. Sean here. This week I'm sort of going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart recently, and that is employment. Employment for us is a little rough because every statistic I've seen says that our kind, the Aspie autistic crowd, is sitting between, it's very hard to guess, between an 80 to 90% unemployment rate at any one time. And even if you figure that Aspies are suffering a significantly lower percentage than autistics, it wouldn't surprise me to find that Aspies are sitting at 50%, which means 1 in 2 of us. I don't have any data on it, but it would definitely be unsurprising to me. And my own experiences be damned. Now this week, I'm going to give you something that I haven't given for, so this will be week 24, which would make it 6 months I've been doing this. I'm going to tell you where I am. I live in the beautiful desert town of Reno, Nevada. Now, what does that have to do with employment? Well, during the height of the unemployment crisis, 1 in 4 people in my town was unemployed or underemployed. It was more like 1 in 5 was completely unemployed. And we are still sitting at 15%-ish. 15, my girlfriend's sitting off camera trying not to talk. 13% unemployment unofficially because the people who are no longer receiving unemployment benefits or are talking to the offices here don't generally count. So it's very hard for them to know. Now, what does this mean? Well, this meant that I figured out what the unemployment rate was. Say how many, 1 in 88 people has autism spectrum disorder. I figured out that, 1 in 88 has an ASD in a town my size. 1 in 16 of the unemployed have an ASD. That's a very significant increase. Now, I've found that due to, as I've talked about, the Baskin-Robbins theory of Asperger's, where 31 flavors is all ice cream, there are some Aspies who say, well, why don't you write? You talk so well. I'm dysgraphic. I know some Aspies, personally, who are wonderful writers, who can write reams and reams and reams of pages of data. And I have trouble with a page and a half. I get migraine headaches that don't go away. So, for a while. So, it's very hard. I saw an ad today for somebody to do translation software and captions. And a friend of mine posted it up on Facebook. And I was very interested in it, but it requires you to write, and that's not something I can do. My current job, I'm a software intern, very, very, very part-time, and I have to write up bugs and whatnot, and I can do it. I've been doing it fine, but I've noticed that if I get a very complex bug, and I'm supposed to condense this data and say where it went and how it went and who it went to, it can be a little rough. My English 101 class was the hardest one I ever took, so my dysgraphia is very strong. My particular field is I'm a courier. I'm a small package courier. I've worked for some international companies doing package delivery. And due to the fact that I'm currently all but unemployed, I'm thinking about retraining. But that I know delivery, that I know logistics and couriermanship and driving, I've professionally driven over 250,000 miles. I'm thinking about upping to a commercial driver's license, not to drive trailers, but to drive locally things over 10 tons. For those not in America, we have various licenses for various things, just like you. And in my area, there's, in most of America, there's A, B, and C. A, Class A is like 53 foot, that's about 20 meters. No, 10 meters, 20 meters. It's long, 53 foot. Doubles, triples, whatnot. B is sort of more your local stuff, your school buses and whatnot. And C is your average everyday car, and then M is motorcycle. I happen to have a Class C and a Class M license. And so I'm thinking about doing that. And that's mostly just to get an income going to provide for me and my incipient family. Anyway, and what I get Aspies ask me all the time, well, what should I do for work? Should I go on disability? What should I do? And the truth is that I don't find the wisdom that you should do what you love to be of any value. I'm sure many of us have read David Finch's book. He loved math, he loved engineering, and he's got a career doing that. And he's brilliant. And there's many people just like that. My dad loves his career. I'm the son of an attorney or a barrister, those outside the country. And he loves his career. He loves doing trials. I would never, ever, ever. Oh, sorry, my girlfriend just said a 53-foot trailer, 16 meters. So 16-meter trailer. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do small, between a normal car and that. Anyway, so he loves doing that. And there are many people who love doing what they do. I say, if you can do that, then do it. But if you can't, find something that, even if you're not necessarily good at, something that you can stand, that won't drive you nuts, and do that. I happened to fall into being a courier in 2005 when I was 26. And I got a job with a subcontractor for an international firm. And I started doing that right then and there. And I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it from 2005. I've been a driver in other times, and driver then, and driver after. But I lost a lot of my employment after 2008. So I did it really hardcore for about 4 years. And then it fell apart. Now, something Aspies need to know, especially, I'm going to speak now about specifically U.S. law. The Americans with Disabilities Act says all reasonable accommodations must be made. And Section 503 and 504 of the Civil Rights Act apply mostly to jobs. Now, if you happen to be like I do in a state like Nevada, in which the law says you can be fired for no reason, remember that does not mean any reason. I've had more than one employer that I've taken to arbitration because they said that they could fire me for any reason they wanted, and were surprised to find out that federal law superseded state law on this subject. Strange that they should know this, because it's our Department of Labor is very nice. They sent out a little poster to any new business for free. It says minimum wage and FEMLA law and National Guardsman law, a bunch of different things. They'll send it to you. It's laminated. It's brilliant. They do it for free. It's to help people out and to give them no excuse why they don't. We can't afford that. It's free. Just ask. So these people have just missed that, and thankfully I've garnered $12,000 over the course of my life-ish. That's actually low, but I'm not going to tell you the exact number of what I was owed, and I'm looking at doing it again for a previous employer, not the current employer. Current employer, good folks, I love them. They are doing me a serious solid in training and monies in a hard time. So, one of the things that you have to be aware of as an Aspie is that you won't make every interview. You're going to miss interviews. You're going to miss the soft skills, the social cues. And I don't have any advice for that other than to just accept it, move on. It's going to be rough. It's going to really suck. If you can find somebody somewhere, if your state allows it, because often enough times, remember, if you say that so-and-so discriminated against you for such and such reason, as the plaintiff, the burden of proof rests with you. Now in America, the difference between civil and criminal is shadow of a doubt versus preponderance of the evidence, or somebody once put it, 99% chance is shadow of doubt. 99% chance you did it beyond a shadow of a doubt. 51% is preponderance of the evidence. And I've won my cases on preponderance of the evidence, except for one where it was beyond a shadow of a doubt because the guy admitted it. But the onus will be on you, and you don't want to go through these. I found that a lot of you have, and that's unfortunate. But good on you for fighting for what's yours. Good on you for doing what you needed to. So what do you say? Oh, I have an Aspie son, daughter, whatnot, and they need help discovering what they're good at. Well, maybe they have an interest. Maybe they can do that. Personally, none of my interests I'm either not good enough at, or they don't pay money. Some of them require me to do schooling I'm not capable of doing. Others require me to do schooling I am capable of doing. I just haven't got around to it yet. By getting around to it, I mean I don't have money. But maybe you find something. I never thought I'd get into delivery. The only reason why I liked it, I thought I might be good at it, was because being a courier, I'm on my own. I get to use my intelligence, my initiative, and my independence to my benefit. And I've done so for many years. I've done so for multiple companies, and I did well. You need somebody who understands you. You need to find a boss, if you can. You need to find a boss who can work with you, who can run interference between you and the middle management, or you and the upper management. Or maybe they are the management. Maybe they're the owner. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be rough. You're going to have to work hard. If you find a company and you can stick with a company or a career or do something, or maybe you're self-employed, more power to you. For the rest of us, it's not so easy. I have been unemployed for most of the recession. I've had a few jobs here and there. I've had 2 temporary jobs. They were really good, and I was really good at them. And both sets of bosses would hire me again in an instant if they could, but temporary jobs. I have put out, since September, as far as I know, 150 applications. And I have had 5, 6, 7 job interviews. I've got through a couple rounds of interviews with a few larger companies. I haven't heard back from them. So I'm worried. As I said, I have a child on the way, due in 5-6 months-ish. February will come soon enough. My nephew was born last night. So I've got some needs, and I'd like to fulfill them. And I bet you there's a lot of people, a lot of Aspies, a lot of my audience, just like me, looking to fulfill their needs. And you can't. Now, where I am, we do have help. However, Voc Rehab is pretty much a joke, near as I can tell, for Aspies. Having talked to people who've worked there, having talked to other Aspies, if you're in the U.S., vocational rehabilitation is not so cool. I've heard from some British fans, and you guys seem to have it nailed. Same thing for the Canadians. Same thing for the Swedes. And Australians, but not Americans. The other one is our state job, labor department job helper people. Nice, but they aren't very good at their jobs. Honestly, what I find is they lack a lot of give a damn. They don't have enough give a damn to do the job right. Sorry. I've been watching them for 5 years and it's not happening. I got laid off from my last real job, my last made close to $30,000 job, in August of 2008. That's 5 years ago this month. The recession kicked in the next month. And I and those like me have been on the receiving end ever since. So I have more to say. I'll give a part 2 later, and I'll see you then. Bye.